All right, everyone. Morning, everyone. Have a nice little group of traders here. My name is John Paul, and thank you for attending this morning's webinar. In this webinar, what I like to do is go over a few charts, show you what's happening, give you an explanation of how I trade price action. I like to make these webinars as user-friendly as possible, so if there's anything that comes up, you have a question, go ahead and type it there in the morning. Joseph? Yep. And go ahead and type it there in the chat box there. As you know, the goal is to get away from trading using the typical indicators that everyone uses. I don't use any type of moving averages or any type of stochastics or bands or Keltner channels. I don't use any of that stuff because it is a lagging way to trade. Okay, it's a lagging way to trade. So, in my opinion, when you look at trading price and looking at price, I always say let us reflect what's happening and take advantage of the direction that price is moving. Okay, so one of the first things that I'm going to bring to everyone's attention is the news event that occurred this morning at, I believe it was about 8:30, 8:35 this morning. Okay, so besides all of this stuff here that on the chart, I'm going to teach you something as well on how I look at and how I dictate trading the news, and you can get a perspective on how I understand it as we go forward. And if we have a news trade, I'll be happy to look at it and take it as well. Here we have the E-mini S&P right over here. Okay, and on the E-mini S&P at 8:30 this morning, there was this huge candle. If you can see that right there, this huge candle right here. Okay, I'm going to expand this here a little bit. Right, and because I knew there was a news event, everyone should be looking at. Morning, Chandra. Everyone should be looking at the news event and understanding, well, I shouldn't be trading right into this news event. We're going to get stuck. We're going to get in trouble. Marking can go all the way up. A couple points can come all the way down. A couple of points. And this is very hard to trade, mainly because of the chaos. So one of the methods that I use and that I teach on how to trade news events is not doing what everyone else does. Okay, I don't want to do the bracketing off and hoping that I'm going to get filled without slippage and see it continue on back and forth and whipsaw. Most traders, how they trade the news is they do this. They have a stop order here, they have a stop order here, and they say, well, when this news event comes out, the direction should continue, and I want to see price continue up or down through that. And what typically happens, not all the time, what typically happens is you get filled and there's slippage because you get filled on a stop, and then as soon as you get filled, the market comes down and you usually have a tight stop and you get stopped out. And then there's a huge run up and down, 3-4 points back and forth, right? That is typical with a news event. So I'm trying to eliminate any and all of this guesswork and this chaos, and instead I'm going to give you some specific rules on how I like to trade the news. Okay? So the first thing is, let's take a look at whether this candle was chaotic, the news event candle, or not. And let me just back up for a little bit. What I use to know if there's a news event or not, some of you may already know this, but I use a economic calendar, and here it is. I use the Bloomberg. Now, it doesn't really matter what you use because all economic calendars are typically based off the same information. But the one thing that I am going to reflect is whether or not there is a red star. So in case this information is new to you, make sure that you're looking at an economic calendar. I use here the Bloomberg economic calendar. There it is. And go ahead and save that as a bookmark if you need to. And what this is it tells me to be careful. 8:30 this morning, I knew that there was a report coming out. Yesterday at 8:30, with the red star, I knew that there was an important moving report that would move the market. So, in looking at this, I have a little bit of a heads up. I don't look at orange stars or yellow stars, but I will look at when Ben Bernanke speaks. When Ben Bernanke speaks, it's usually not listed as a red star, and you have to count that as a red star because he can and does say things that move the market. Okay, so at 8:30 this morning, I knew that this was going to occur. So I'm going to stay out of it until we decide to see something specific happen. So at this point, I'm going to ask you, as you see this here, how many traders do you think went long here, right at the top? This candle was all green at one point. How many traders, based on that information, you think went long? I'll tell you, a lot, right? A lot. And so, in knowing that, I know that there are a huge amount of contracts all over the world that are currently long here. Now, I don't know if the market's going to go up or if the market's going to go down. So I don't have a crystal ball. But what I do know is that if the market, let me just put my volume up here a little bit. If the market turns around at any time of the day, at any point of the day whatsoever, there's going to be a huge run in the opposite direction. All right? And could I just get a quick sound check here to make sure that you can see my chart? Bob, good morning. All right, John, thank you. All right, good. So I know that if this market turns around and specifically comes below here, I know that all of these stops are going to be triggered. They're going to get triggered. And what's going to happen is an opportunity to sell this in a major way. Okay? So here are the rules. Thank you, Bob. Here are the rules on how I approach this news event. And remember, it could happen at any time throughout the day. It can happen at any time throughout the day. It doesn't have to be within a certain amount of time. Right up to the last half hour, 45 minutes of the day, there may be a late day rally or late day sell-off. So this is how I approach it. First, I am going to make sure that I know that a news event is going to come out. So I know that this is happening. Second of all, I look at this and I say, are we going to have a chaotic reaction on whatever the news event was or not? And so in everyone's opinion, do you believe that this candle here is a chaotic candle? And what I mean by chaotic is it much larger than the last few candles that came and preceded it, prior to it. What do you think? Yeah, absolutely, right, Mike? And so at this point, I would say that we have a chaotic event where traders waited for that magic number, and they all said, "Let's go long, and let's believe that this market's rallying based on this news event, news report." Whether the number was good, I don't know, but I'm assuming it was because that's the initial reaction. Now, as the day continues, think about other factors not relating to the news event. The news event happened to be employment situation and international trade. But let's say that something else now starts to take effect, whether it be the reality of the European situation with Greece, or let's say the political situation here in the States, whatever the case may be, interest rates, now other things begin to take shape. If the market now has no follow-through to the upside, where most traders have their stops is in reality just under or just at the low of this candle. So I'm going to put here a horizontal line like this. I'm going to say to you that any time throughout the day, if the market falls below this low of this chaotic candle, something's going to happen. Okay? Something's going to happen. All of these stops are going to get run, and they have to cover their position, and there may be even many traders that hit that reverse key. And therefore, I'm looking at this as a situation that says, when this occurs, I'm going to take advantage of it. 2 consecutive closes below that low is my entry. Okay, so 2 consecutive closes below this low here is my entry. So we had it come and touch here and bounced off it. We had it try again to come and penetrate it. What's happening here is, in my opinion, the way that I see it, is that the market could very well, at this point, be unable to continue this up move and collapse. And if it does collapse, I want you to think about everyone that is long based on this reactionary news. They're going to get stopped out, and then they're going to hit reverse, and the market's just going to tank. We're not there yet. I want to make sure that we in fact have the valid setup. And one of the students that I work with, which is a mentorship student, he said to me something actually that I never really considered. He said to me, you know, John, I'm starting to become a setup trader, where I'm looking for setups to trade. I never thought of it in that way, but I have to say he's actually right. All of the trades that I teach and that what most traders take advantage of are setups. And that's how I'm thinking about trading. I'm thinking about looking at this as a proper setup to enter the market, and then I manage it with rules. So everything that has to deal with what we do here as traders is really in essence setting up the trade and finding the setups to take. Not just thinking I hope it goes up and I believe because of the news event that it's going to go up. It's really setting up the trade with the proper rules. Well, Sam, if I have a news event that's coming out just at the Atlas line, I want to not take that trade. I want to absolutely hold off until the market gets back to normal. So if there's ever a news event that's just about to pop off when we have an Atlas line entry, I'd say hold off on it, right? Don't take the trade until the market clears away, or give it a couple of minutes, maybe 10, 15 minutes for everything to get back to normal, and then we can revisit it. But I do not like to enter into the market right at a point, and any method, whether it be at the open, or a power price action trade, or a blueprint, or a roadmap, not at a news event, not during a news event. Okay? You're welcome. So here are the rules based on this news event. I'm going to do the absolute opposite. The absolute opposite of what you see, I want to do. So first, is this chaotic? The answer is yes. Is this candle a green bar or a red bar? What do you think? Green, right? So if this is a green candle, then I do not want to go long. I want to go short if and when this setup occurs. Okay, so is it chaotic? Chaotic. Is it chaotic? Is it green or red? And then look for the opposite move. Opposite move. Very simple. I'm not using any indicators. I'm basing it off of price and price action, proving to me what it's doing, where it's going, and why. Just explained to you. John, we are currently, I'm not sure if, John, if you're aware of how rollover works. So I'll give you a little bit of info on the rollover. The futures contracts, they roll over specific months. So March, June, September, December in the CME are rollover months for the futures currencies and for the indexes. Now, the rule of thumb, and I actually did a blog post on it, right, would be rollover on the second Thursday or Friday of the expiring contract month. Okay, I think I spelled that correctly. All right, so we're rolling over on the second Thursday or Friday of the expiring contract. So we're in March. Thursday or Friday, we're rolling over to June. Okay, John? That's why I'm on the June contract. You're welcome. Mike says here, would two closes above the high of the candle trigger a long position? You could do that. I'm not a big advocate of doing that. And I'll tell you the reason is because many times the market just goes a little bit higher, testing the highs, or it's stuck in a channel. And therefore, I'm using other methods to go long. Based on this idea, I'm not using just that. I'm using blueprint or roadmap or something else to tell me to go long, or the Atlas line. I'm not using this specific reversal to do that. This is a pure psychological, which is kind of sad, really, event where the euphoria to go long occurred, and then there's no follow through, and then traders have to get out. They have to get out. There's nothing they can do. They have to get out. Okay. To go long, you're going to look at anything else, whether it be Atlas line, whether it be the blueprint setups that I teach. You can look at anything and everything else to go long, but this is specifically a reversal. Okay, Mike? All right. Let's take a look at what the Atlas line is doing here on the E-mini to tell us more or less where we're at. I'm going to add the Atlas line. Remember, the E-mini market's open for me at 9:30. This is just a configuration of how you want the text signals to look. Here's an alert wave, sound alert, and I'm only going to display these entries, the trade double closes. So here we go. Here is currently the Atlas line, as you see it, right here, and here is the long entry. Okay, so even though I'm waiting for this specific trade to occur on Trading the News, I'm waiting for that specifically, it doesn't mean that you can't take long trades until that happens. And so as a trader, I look at linear how and what is available to me. So what's available to me? I don't have this set up yet. It's not here yet. So anything that's available to me moving forward, I can take. Long trades, it's fine. I'm just looking for that to happen. 2 consecutive closes. Anytime throughout the day. Mike, you okay with that? So here's the long on the Atlas line. Here is another long here on the Atlas line. Who knows? I know that some of you have the Atlas line. What is this trade, guys? I'll give you guys a a quiz here. Those of you who have the Atlas line here in the room, do you know why there would be a long entry here? Joseph? Adam? I know you guys have it. There you go. Very good. Excellent. Pullback or a strength trade. Exactly right. Exactly right. So, Chandra, I know Chandra knows this too. Right? 2 consecutive closes, the initial entry right over here to go long. Absolutely. Right? So there are specific rules to tell us to go long or to go short based off of the Atlas line. Absolutely. This Trading the News event that I'm showing you and teaching you right now is something that I will be watching and looking for anytime throughout the day. And a very big and, do you see where, and if this happens, 2 consecutive closes below the chaotic bar here at 8:30. As a side note, we would be below the Atlas line anyway. See, here is the Atlas line right here. As soon as 2 consecutive closes occur, which I believe may happen today, you're going to see us have not only a short entry based off the Atlas line, but a short entry based off of trading this news event in the opposite direction. You have 2 things going for you to go short. Okay? Is everyone clear on that? How we're combining not just the Atlas line entry short, right, Chandra? We're looking at as well 2 consecutive closes happening below this low here. Now, if this was a red bar, I'm not going short. If this candle happened to be red here, I instead would look to go long if and when 2 consecutive candles closed above it. So remember, is it chaotic? Is it green or red? And then look for the opposite to occur. 2 consecutive closes above if it's a red bar. Everybody has to cover their shorts and or hit the reverse key to really fire up this market. I know that some of you are interested in looking at other markets as well, and therefore let me just put the E-mini here to the side here. Let's take a look at the gold. I'm not a big gold fan, okay? Gold is manipulated market. During the mentorship program, you guys who are in it, you know that I don't go into great detail in gold or in crude oil. That being said, I know that I say the Atlas line is good to trade with anything. Well, here is the gold for today on the using the Atlas line. A short entry at 1684.20. It went down. Remember, I'm using my average true range to tell me how much profit I should take based on the current market conditions. So there's a short signal, and here's a long signal. This is the gold. As far as crude oil is concerned, let's take a look at crude as well. Here's the crude. You had a short signal here, right over here, at 107.44. As you can see, it went down a little bit and then popped right back up, and that's your exit. Your exit would have been at 107.49. It risked, looks like about 4 or 5 cents on that trade, and then you automatically got a long position to go long. So that's the crude, and this is the euro for today. Here's the euro. Now, looking at what the Atlas line does and can trade, I've just shown you 4 different markets, or 5 different markets, including the E-mini S&P. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gold, crude, E-mini. I'll give you one more. Here's the Russell. Here's the Russell. I've shown you now 5 markets here that we were able to capitalize on something that these trades give you. So I want to be dynamic. I don't want to look at the E-mini. If the E-mini is too slow, and it's been very slow, right, then I want to look at something else. So I always want to be versatile. And what the Atlas line does, since it's not connected to any parameter, you're able to trade multiple markets with it and at the same time. Euro question here. Adam wants to know, did the euro just have a pullback trade? Let's take a look, Adam. Pullback trade, not a pullback trade, Adam. Not a pullback trade. Remember, pullback trade shows me 2 consecutive bars pulling back. So 2 green bars. Do you see a place where we have 2 green bars here pulling back? Just making sure you know the rules. No, right? So no pullback. I would say instead a strength trade, if anything, but not a pullback trade, right? You're welcome. Okay. So that's the euro. That's the gold. Here's the crude. Here's the Russell. Here's the E-mini. What would this trade be right here? This entry right here, guys. What's that? Strength trade. And those of you who have the Atlas line, I'm going to update the Atlas line to include these entries, these strength trades, and these pullback trades. And so everyone here, I always update and give free updates to everyone, whether you have a lifetime license or not. And therefore, as soon as I get it coded to include these additional trades, you'll have that as well. Okay? That way, it's not just, just don't learn it, but you also have it displayed on your chart. Now, another method that I'm looking at and thinking, let me just take this out of the way here, is looking at what my specific targets are. As you know, I do not like to just jump in and say, I hope it goes to 2 points. I hope it goes to 3 points. You never know. So why not be specific about it, right? I want to be as specific as possible. And when I look at taking profit targets, I just don't want to say, I believe or I think it's going to reach my target. Let's use something to help us. Look at that ATR, this average true range. It tells me that I should be taking, at the moment, 1.5 points of profit on each trade that I take. So, if you're looking to know how much is there for me, don't guess, be specific. 1.5 points is what I'm after. Now, taking this strength trade here, I'm only going for a point because that's the rule. Strength trades and pullback trades only go for a point. Had that been a double bar long or double bar short or a bounce trade, then I would go for the full ATR, the average true range. But since the pullbacks and the strengths are only good for 4 ticks, that's all I want. Okay. So on the E-mini right now, it's 1.5 points is what the market is currently giving me. On the euro, it's a little bit different. I'll show you how this works in case you're wondering. Let's take a look at this when it occurred. Here is the entry. 1.3136. At the close of this candle, I'm short 31.36. I immediately look down, and if you can see that, what is, not sure if you guys can see that, what is this value here? It is, maybe a little bit small, it is 0.00102. Now, what in the world is that? How do I know what that is as far as, conferring that with ticks and points and profit? Move the decimal place over 4 to the right, and you have 10 ticks. So 10 ticks, the equivalent of about 2.5 points on the E-mini. That is what the relationship of entering short to where I expect it to move. So what's 10 ticks from 31.36? 31.26. So 31.26 right here is my expectation of my profit target. Bam. There it was. Okay? Anyone have any questions on how to look at currencies when trading using the ATR or with the Atlas line? Okay? And so looking at this, I can say to you, each step of the way, I know that I'm setting this up as a trader. I know my entries. I know my profits. My stops are going to be based off the ATR as well as a prove-it stop and a time-based stop. So we have everything here that we need to trade off of. Wow, look at that gold market go. Days like that, yeah, I wish I was in the market, but you never know it's going to rally this strong. But as long as you're above the Atlas line, my goal is to be long and to think long and to take long trades. It's a filtering tool as well. I have a trader who's actually scalping the market, and he's using the Atlas line to filter out trades. So I'm assuming that if he's trading the gold or the oil today, he's just taking long trades, no short trades, because we're above the Atlas line. And I think that's the right thing to do as well. Same thing, here is the E-mini. It had the E-mini up a little while ago. Here it is. So if the market throughout the day happens to come all the way back down, this is still in play. This counter trade based on the initial news event. But other than that, anything that's long, you can go long with. Actually, the power price action trade would give us long too here as well. So you have a couple of things here going on. I know that some of you may have some of the courses. Some of you may have just the Atlas line. But everything is long here at the moment until this turns around. Questions, anyone? ES is moving up too. Yep. ES gave us chase to trade. All right. Good job, Sandra. That's right. That's right. Chase the trade at the open in the power price action trade. Now, just as a side note, I am starting a new class, mentorship class, March 15th. It includes everything that you see here, all of the methods, plus some that I only disclose in the mentorship program, like the roadmap trade, as an example. I have a couple of people already signed up. You're interested? March 15th is the start date, the tentative start date, to spend 8 weeks with me and to learn everything that I have to share with you. Waiting for the ATO pullback. Yeah, let's take a look at that, Sandra. Let's see if we're going to hit the ATO. It depends, Mike. Are you looking at if you're just to buy one course, what I recommend? It depends on what you're after. So, explain to me a little bit on your goals. For example, the at the open method only trades once a day, so it's a once and done thing. The scalping methods, one is a counter trend scalping method. The other one, it goes with the trend. The power price action trade trades all markets. Trades all markets, multiple time frames. It's a way to understand and look at price, and it comes with some training. All come with training, but the power price action comes with once a week, 8 weeks of training as well on the power price action DVD course. And then there's the Atlas line, which you can see here trades all markets, depends on what you're after. And let me just show you guys, want to see a couple days in a row of the Atlas line. Here is, just take this out here. Here is the Atlas line from yesterday. Here's the short. There's the short on the Atlas line, and there's a bounce trade here at the end of the day as well to go short. That's yesterday on the E-mini. Here is the day before that. Long, Atlas line. Here is short on the Atlas line day before that. So just a couple of days on the E-mini on the outline. I think that in the video I posted yesterday, I show all of these trades here. Wow, it's really moving up. Hey, you know what? It may just move higher. It may just move higher. But again, don't be surprised if this happens. Do not be surprised if that happens. It may happen. Looking for daily income. So I would say, if anything, Mike, either the Atlas line or one of the scalping methods, Mike, because obviously, if just doing the ATO once a day, it's a great move, but you may want to have more action than just once a day. Most traders like a lot of action too. So either the Atlas line or one of the scalping methods, Mike, is my suggestion. All right. All right, guys. I'm going to run. I wanted to show you guys this news event trade, explain to you how it works. Please go back in history, take a look, and see how this news event works. If you have questions on joining up in the next class, let me know. If you have any questions on any of the courses that are all based on price action, and I include training with all of them. So I do include training with all of them. And the DVD course does come with 8 weeks of training, though. All right? You got it, guys. You got it, Bob. Thank you, everyone. Have a good weekend. Remember, one last thing that I want to just mention with this ATR, and this is something that I think everyone should know. If it's too slow, if the market's too slow, please do not trade unnecessarily, right? If the market's dead, you can't make anything out of it. There's nobody there to trade. So let me just suggest something. Whenever you see this ATR below 1, okay? Now we're way above 1, but when it's at 1 or below, I should say, when it's at 1 or below, hovering on 1, realize that the last 20 minutes or 25 minutes, the market has been unable to move 4 ticks on average. That's all it's been able to do. It's dead. Go to another market, look at currencies, or look at something that moves. But more traders get whipsawed and killed, really, by little knives cutting them by trading when the market's dead. So there's no point to trading these dojis, right? I analyze price all the time, and all I see is dojis when the market is below 1 on the ATR. It's not worth trading. So use that as a means. Anything above 1, we're safe to take. Anything at 1 or lower, forget about it. Okay? All right, everyone. Enjoy the weekend. I'll speak to everyone next week. Check out the blog as well. The DayTradeToWin blog has, great resources, hundreds of articles that I've written, and lots of useful information, videos. I'm sure there's something for everyone there. Okay? Bob, the currencies like Australian dollar and the euro up to about 12:30 usually works well. 3 o'clock in the morning when the Life Exchange opens in London is also another good opportunity to trade. Then I like the FTSE. I like the Eurostoxx 50. The Treasury notes better than the Treasury bonds, and I love the soybean market. Soybean market's an excellent market to trade. All right, Bob? You got it. All right, guys, stay safe. Bye-bye now. Thank you.